Hi, my name is Sam Leicht. I'm the owner of Pridefit, which is a fitness app for the LGBTQIA+ community. My days really change all the time. It runs the gamut from working with our developers on new features in the app, to building new workouts, to coordinating with our coaches and our marketing team, to working with members every day so that they can continue to see fitness and nutrition results. I had been a personal trainer and group fitness trainer in New York City before the pandemic, and when everything happened, everyone really needed fitness. They needed to move their bodies, and I started posting on social media what I was doing for my workouts, different workout programs, and that's when I really created this organic community of like-minded people. I didn't set out to make a queer fitness program, but that is what Pridefit eventually became. We were originally called Lightning Health, which is a play on my last name, Light. And after a few months, it became very clear that a rebrand was necessary. We're not gonna be the app that tells you that you're gonna lose 30 pounds in 3 months. Absolutely, we can help you do something like that. But making those promises to get people in the door, it's not what we're about. We're founded on the principle of sustainable health. So we're focused on how can we help you build long-term fitness and nutrition habits so that this can be the smallest part of your life for the rest of your life while still getting the results that you want to get. During the pandemic, that was a really big boom on social media for myself personally, but then also for Pridefit. And we did a really phenomenal job of making sure that people had different types of workouts that they could do at home or that they could do at the gym as gyms started to open back up. And the fact that we were able to cultivate this community on social media allowed it to be a very easy transition into a membership community as soon as we were ready to do that. You know what's great about being a small business is that you're never at the forefront of anything. And as much as that can be a very daunting prospect, it also can be really liberating. You know, I look at a company like Peloton where they have a phenomenal product and they are spending millions and millions of dollars on research and design of their product. And I can look at that and I can say, what part of this product would be really phenomenal for the Pridefit app? And then I can go to my development team and they can say, oh, that's already been made. It's so much easier and cheaper for us to put that in your app now than if we were trying to do this first. The biggest tech anti-trend that I'm excited about is getting rid of AI in fitness. Sure, AI can be helpful in so many different areas of life. I also am a firm believer that there are going to be parts of our lives that we really want one-on-one human contact with. And I don't know about you, but having AI create a fitness program for me without any kind of personalization, without knowing who I am, what my challenges are, what I'm working through, that's not what I'm looking to. And I'm excited for Pridefit to continue to focus on that human interaction, because that's what's gonna really motivate people to want to be better, to want to improve their health habits. It's not AI. It feels a little cliche because I do own a fitness app, but fitness is where I look to really challenge myself, because I know that if I am willing to challenge myself on a day-to-day basis with whatever fitness challenge it is, whether it's training for an Ironman or learning a new sport or doing CrossFit, I know that that is going to make the rest of my life feel so much less challenging. And I think that if I want to be a better leader, a better partner, a better friend, that requires us to do hard things sometimes. I know this is cliche, but I do work out a lot, I move my body a lot, and I do think that that enables me to have a drive in other parts of my life. I'm a big fan of studying dopamine. Sounds very nerdy. I know from experience and from the research that when we put our body through hard things, that enables us to be more motivated to do other hard things. And to balance out the bro-y culture of dopamine, I'll say my other big passion is music theater. I was an actor for my first 7 years in the city. I was on Broadway in a show called The Lightning Thief, and I love singing and acting, not so much dancing. And I think that theater is such an incredible way for us to connect with each other, for us to tell important stories, for us to learn about compassion and see from other people's perspectives. I think that being an actor and being interested in the arts is one of the best things that you can do to be a better business person. I'm not even sure if most people don't believe this to be true in theory, but in practice, I think people have a really hard time with the idea that positive reinforcement is the best way to go about relationships, the best way to get a certain product that you're trying to get. For whatever reason, we have in our heads that in order for us to achieve something great, whether that is maybe weight loss, whether that is making your own business, we have to put ourselves through, or we have to be so mean to ourselves. I don't think that people disagree with this in theory, but in practice, we don't think this way. And that is that positive reinforcement will get the best results 99% of the time. I had to make the decision to split up with business partners, and I think that's always a really challenging thing. And yet, a year later, I know that it was absolutely the best decision that I possibly could have made for the company. In the moment, it was horrible. It felt so world-ending. And yet, I think it's a really good reminder that when you're running a business, there are going to be roadblocks every single step of the way. And you need to trust your gut, you need to trust your friends and your family and your mentors, and you need to take all of these data points and make the decision that you think is best for your business. And that is all we can do. I don't know if people don't agree with this necessarily, but there's a school of thought that positive reinforcement makes you weak. And I think this couldn't be further from the truth. When you look at people like David Goggins, who say that the only way that they can better themselves is to be real and to make themselves feel horrible so that they have the impetus to get better. I just ask myself, how much better could you be if you would have just been kind to yourself? And I know from my experience anecdotally, but then also from what the research says, that lifting people up, helping them succeed, being kind, not treating yourself so poorly ends up getting a much better result. I had to decide to walk away from acting. That was pretty challenging. I went to school for something and I did it for 5 years, ended up being on Broadway for about a year before the pandemic happened. And I decided to walk away from that, especially in a position where I didn't feel like I necessarily succeeded at everything that I wanted to do with it. It was absolutely the best thing that I could do for myself. I wanted autonomy. I wanted the work that I put into something to be reflected in what I got out of it. And the best way to do that is through entrepreneurship, is by starting your own company. So is there a possibility that I will be an actor again someday? Maybe. But was it absolutely the hardest but best decision to walk away from acting and focus on Pridefit? I've had to make a lot of tough decisions throughout the course of Pridefit. And who's to say if they were the right decisions? But you go with them, you try and make the best of it, and you just keep on moving forward. I have a couple of books that I would recommend, and all for very different reasons. I really love the book Untamed by Glennon Doyle. I love the book How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. It was written so long ago and yet is more applicable now than ever. It's wild. I love the book Mindset by Carol Dweck, really focusing on how practicing something actually makes you better at it. And just recently I read Let Them by Mel Robbins, and I ended up being so pleasantly surprised with the simplicity of the message and how easy it was to apply to my everyday life. One of my favorite books is Mindset by Redwerk. It really talks about how we think about someone like LeBron having all of this innate talent to start with, when the research is actually really clear. The reason why LeBron is as good as he is because he practiced. And it's so liberating to see research that shows that, hey, if you put effort into something, if you practice something and you continue to really try to get better at it, you will. And it's not about you being born with this innate talent. It's that if you see someone who is incredible at basketball, they worked hard at it. And that means that you also can get incredible at basketball if you're willing to work hard at it. Another book that I read recently was How to Win Friends and Influence People, which had been on my reading list for forever, and I finally read it. And I was so amazed by how applicable it was today, even though it was written so long ago. He was very much a business person who believed in positive reinforcement and making people want to do business with you through kindness. And it's one of the most important business books that I've ever read. I've got a couple personal mottos. One is it's okay to work hard. I think that Gen Z is a little, not to call them out, but Gen Z is a little bit allergic to looking like you're working hard. It's okay. It's okay to want something. It's okay to really strive for something. I also think that when I'm looking for friends, when I found my partner, the thing that I'm most drawn to is when people are interested. Not interesting, being interested is very, very appealing to me because the world is so unbelievable. There are so many different facets that we can zoom in on. And if you're not interested and you can't see that there's so much to be interested in, it's a signal to me that you're just not looking. And I would say the third thing is that being a good person is worth it.